We'll start with the prayers. Om Bhadram Karnebhi Shrunayama Devaha Bhadram Pashe Makshabhiryajatraha Stirairangaihi Suštuvagam Sashtanobihi Vyashema Devahitam Yadayuho Swastina Indro Vriddashrabhaha Swastina Pusha Vishvavedaha Swasti nastakshorarishthanemihi Swasti no brihaspati'r dadato Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Today we are going to start a new Upanishad called Mundak Upanishad. We are doing a course of 12 Upanishads. This is our second Upanishad after Kaivalya Upanishad. We have seen what are Upanishads and what are the main 12 Upanishads which we will be covering in this course. There are 4 Vedas: Rig Veda, Sama Veda, Yajur Veda, Atharvana Veda. The 12 Upanishads are one part of the Upanishads out of 1,180 or so Upanishads which were originally there. And they are distributed between the 4 Upanishads, between the 4 Vedas. Rig Veda will be doing one Upanishad called Aitareya Upanishad. Yajur Veda is the biggest, where we have 5 Upanishads. Kathopanishad, Taittiriya Upanishad, Ishavasya Upanishad, Brihadaneka Upanishad, Svetashvatara Upanishad. Sama Veda, which is usually sung in tune form, Keno Upanishad and Chandogya Upanishad. Atharvana Veda is what we have started with, where we finished Kaivalya Upanishad. There we have also, then we will be doing now Mundak Upanishad, Prashna Upanishad, Mandukya Upanishad, and what we have finished is Kaivalya. So basically there are 12 Upanishads, and each of these Upanishads, they bring out the gist of the entire Veda. The teaching is in Samvada form. Samvada means dialogue. Dialogue between a student and a teacher. Mundak Upanishad is a dialogue between Shaunaka and Angiras. Angiras is the teacher, Shaunaka is the student. Prashna Upanishad is a dialogue between Pipalada, the teacher, and 6 disciples who ask 6 questions on Vedanta. Brihadaneka Upanishad is primarily a dialogue between Yajnavalkya, the teacher, and Janaka, the disciple. Katha Upanishad is a dialogue between Yamadharmaraja, the lord of death, and Nachiketa, an 8-year-old boy. Keno Upanishad has also a guru and a sishya, but the names are not mentioned. So usually you see that Upanishad is a dialogue. It is not a one-way transaction. It is two-way. Because when you listen to the scriptures, there will always be some doubts which you may have, and the disciple will clear his doubts with the teacher. Today, about 108 Upanishads are available with the mantras. And when you study these Upanishads, you will find that Shankaracharya has taken 10 major Upanishads out of this for his commentary. And in all these 10 Upanishads of Shankaracharya, you will find there is one thought process which he has got as the focal point in all his commentaries. Now, this is very important for us to understand, because if you understand this central portion of what he is trying to convey, you will then be focused on what you should learn from the Upanishad. Brahma Satyam Jagan Mithya Jivo Brahmaiva Na Paraha. That is the central message. This comes in Brahman and the Valli. This comes in a work by Shankara himself in Brahmajnana Valli. And here it means Brahman is Satyam. There is something new which we are learning in the Upanishads. It's a unique subject. And that is called as Brahman. We have never heard about it in our normal life, but the Upanishad tell us that there is in this world something called as Brahman, and that is Satyam. Satyam means it exists in 3 periods of time. It was existent in the past, it is existing now, it will exist in the future. And the world in which we live is only an appearance in Brahman. In that pure consciousness called Brahman, this whole world is coming and going, coming and going. That is the second message. The third message is Jivo Brahmaiva Na Paraha. The jiva has to understand that he is not the body or mind, but he is that pure nature which is called as Brahman. Now, this is a central message. Any Upanishad you do and you learn from any teacher, you should not forget this central topic. At the end of every Upanishad, you should ask your question. You should ask a question to yourself. Have I understood maybe 10% of this entire topic which is supposed to be learned from me? If you have even learned 10% of it, you've done a great job, because this subject matter is extremely subtle. The methodology which is generally followed in the Upanishad is called as Prakriya in Sanskrit. And there are different Prakriyas, different methods which are used. One is Drikdrishya Viveka, then Sharira Traya Viveka. Drikdrishya Viveka means seer and seen. How do I discriminate? Why do you do this? In order to understand I am that pure consciousness. Sharira Traya Viveka, gross body, subtle body, causal body. And then what is consciousness? Differentiating them. Panchakosha Viveka, which is seen in Taittiriya Upanishad. Bhaga Tyaga Lakshana. These are all methods of realizing that I am of the nature of pure consciousness. The Shanti mantras in each of this Veda is different. When we chanted this Shanti mantra today, it is the same Shanti mantra which we got for Kaivalya Upanishad also, because they all belong to Atharvana Veda. Bhadram Karnevi Shrunayama Devaha is a Shanti mantra which belongs to Atharvana Veda. In different Vedas, you find different Shanti mantras which is chanted right in the beginning. Rig Veda has got Om Vangme Manasi Pratishtita, that is Rig Veda. Yajur Veda has got Sahana Bhavatu, which you all know. Purnamada is also another Shanti mantra for Yajurveda, but it belongs to Shukla Yajurveda. Yajurveda has got two sections, Krishna and Krishna Yajurveda, Shukla Yajurveda. Apyayantu Mamangani is for Samaveda. So whenever we chant any of these mantras, Shanti mantras, immediately you should reflect on them and connect them to the Veda. Which Veda is the teacher talking? Now, so that is in general about Upanishads. A simple introduction. We have seen this introduction at the beginning of Kaivalya Upanishad also. And you should keep this backdrop that Mundak Upanishad belongs to Atharvana Veda. It consists of 3 chapters, 64 verses, 3 chapters. Kaivalya was 24 verses, 1 chapter. This is a relatively simple Upanishad. It is not very complicated. It is quite straightforward. The meanings are fairly straightforward. If you read the meaning itself, you'll understand what the Upanishad wants to convey. Unlike many other Upanishads like Katho Upanishad, very intense Upanishad, Katho Upanishad, Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, Mandukya Upanishad, these are very intense with a lot of meaning, hidden meaning in them. So some Upanishads need a lot of explanations. Some do not need a lot of explanation. Today, what I'm planning to do is just to give you a backdrop of these chapters. Let me see how much I can go forward. The notes for this Upanishads have been sent to you by WhatsApp. About 69 pages are there for this Upanishad. And first, I will complete the 69 pages. Explanation of these 69 pages, and then I will see whether there is more interest in this in the participants here, whether they want a little bit more meaning to be clarified. If there is more interest in this, to learn a little bit more on Mundak Upanishad, suppose you all say that no, we have understood this Upanishad, we can go to the next Upanishad. Then I will go straight to the next Upanishad. If you say, no, I want to learn a little bit more of some of these verses, there is another text which is available. It is called as Anubhuti Prakasha, written by Swami Vidyaranya. He has written on all these Upanishads, he has written a commentary. He has written a Vivarana. On some of the features of these Upanishads, he has taken out and he has explained those features. I have learned the Mundak Upanishad by Swami Vidyaranya, and there are 400 pages of notes. And he has written 100 verses, 100 verses, 400 pages notes. If you are interested, I will send those notes to you later on. If anybody is interested to just go through those notes, I don't mind sharing those notes with you. There are 2 volumes of those notes. First volume is ready. The second volume will be ready next week. So there are 400 pages of those notes, all giving the meaning of these 64 verses. Swami Vidyaranya is the same author who has written Panchadasi. So he has gone into some of the depth of these verses and he has explained, and he has taught all the Upanishads. He has written commentary on all the Upanishads. Okay, now coming to this summary, the first chapter, there are 3 chapters. Total is 64 verses, 22 verses in the first chapter, 21 in the second chapter, 21 in the last chapter. Now, the first chapter and the second chapter are very, very important. The third chapter is only, it just tells you what is the phalam, what is the result of the study. So if you want to really focus, I will explain to you there are about 10 mantras out of 64. I will tell you in the end, or when I go through these verses, I have marked them as important verses. Those 10 mantras you should focus and go a little bit deeper and understand what is the background to that. Each of these chapters is divided into 2 sections. So totally 2 plus 2 plus 2, 6 sections are there. And how many verses in each of the sections is put here in the slide. The first chapter, first section, what does it contain? This is in short. I will expand on this in the next slide. The first section consists of 9 verses, and here it describes the student and the teacher. Who is the student? Shaunaka. Who is the teacher? Angiras. He is a rishi. And a question is raised. What is the question? We will see later. And then the answer is given by the teacher. The question raised is there anything in the world? If you know it, you will know the entire world. Is there anything? Very important question. See, it's a very deep question. You can try to contemplate on this question itself. Is there anything in the world? If I come to know that, then I will know the nature of the whole universe. To which the answer given by Angiras is, yes, there is something. And very beautifully he says, if you know the cause of everything, Karanam, one cause, if you know, then you will know all the effects. So, Karana Jnanam is the Jnanam which you should get. And what is that Karana Jnanam? That Karana Jnanam is called as Para Prakriti. And what is the knowledge of all the products which are coming out of that Karanam? It is called as Apara Prakriti. Para Prakriti, Apara Prakriti. For those who have done the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 7 will ring in your minds now. The whole of 7th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita is a gist of this Mundak Upanishad. Vedavasa has taken directly from the Upanishad and expanded on that in the 7th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. Para Prakriti, Apara Prakriti. You can go back to that learning of the verses in Para and Prakriti and Apara Prakriti. After you do the 64 verses, you will understand that much better in the 7th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. So Para Prakriti means it is something about the cause of this whole universe. And the cause of this universe is called as Brahman. So if you know Brahman, you will know all the effects, the products. That is the first section, the introduction by the Guru to Para and Apara Prakriti in the first section, 9 verses. Then the second section is 13 verses. He goes into the depth of what is Apara Prakriti in this section and what is the benefit of knowing the Apara Prakriti. Apara Prakriti can be learned through Karma Yoga, Upasana Yoga. These two will help us to purify our mind. So the entire knowledge of Apara Prakriti is nothing but the knowledge of objective world. Then so this completes the first chapter. When we study the Apara Prakriti properly, we will get focus of mind, concentration of mind. Then chapter 2, first section, 10 verses are there. See, they're all just 10 verses in each section, altogether 64, 6 sections, around 64 verses. Upanishad is over. Para vidya is defined in the first section of the second chapter. How is Para vidya able to, how is this Brahman able to create the whole universe is being explained in this section. And it gives the example of a spark. How sparks, small sparks are coming out from they are all the nature of the fire. From fire, you get millions of sparks. Similarly, from one consciousness principle, there can be all the living beings which are born in the universe. Not only living beings, are also inert objects like mountains, rivers, all are just born out of this one consciousness. That is the essence of the first section of the second chapter. Then the second chapter has got a very beautiful meditation methodology, like you had in Kaivalya Upanishad, churning of the Arani, using Omkara. So similarly here, Omkara is again taken up for meditation. And here, the Omkara, which is the Pranava mantra, you meditate and it is compared to a bow and an arrow which is shot with the help of a bow. The bow is the Om, the sound Om. When you go with the sound Om and hit the target, you will realize this pure nature of consciousness. We will go into the depth of it when we do it. And then what happens when you are able to realize this pure consciousness, all the knots, the doubts which you had about yourself, they will all be broken. You will have a complete clarity on your own nature. So that is the second section, very beautiful section, Omkara meditation, Pranava meditation, and the knowledge of Brahman. The third chapter is 10 verses in the first section. Here, what is the cause? Why are we suffering in the world? Why are we bound to this body and mind? That is what is described. What is bondage and how to come out of that bondage. And here another very beautiful example is taken of two birds in one tree. Very famous mantra of Mundak Upanishad. There are, like I said, there are 10 mantras out of 64. They are very, very often quoted by Shankaracharya in many Upanishad commentaries, he quotes these 10 verses. So you should try and see how to get those 10 verses and complete meaning of those. So here, two birds are taken in a tree. One is the jiva bird, jivatma, which is eating the fruits in the tree, always munching, looking here and there. So that is jiva. It's compared to the jiva, all of us. We are always looking out in the world. Throughout the day, what are we doing? Keep looking at what I can enjoy today. That is the goal we have every day. As soon as we get up in the morning, today I want to do something. Why I want to do something? Because I want to enjoy happiness in this world. Every day, morning you get up, you become a karta and a pramata. Pramata means you become a knower of the world. That everybody becomes common. As soon as you wake up in the morning, you become a pramata, knower of the world. That is what the jiva is meant for. Then what happens? The second step, you become a karta. Karta means doer of actions. But why there is a doer of action? Can there be a doer without an enjoyer? We all want to enjoy happiness in the world. Therefore, we become a doer. Very beautifully explained in Taittiriya Upanishad by Shankaracharya that there is no doer without an enjoyer. So all of us are seeking happiness. One goal for everybody. Today I want to be happy. Tomorrow also when I get up, I want to be happy. Actually speaking, happiness means what? According to Veda, happiness means just being with your own self. That is the happiness which Veda is trying to reveal. There is a self, there is an Atma in each one of us. We want to be as the self and live in the world, which is actually called Jivan Mukti. So in this example in the third chapter is a brilliant example. So one bird is sitting in the tree enjoying the fruits. There is another bird which is a witness. It is called as the Sakshi bird. The Sakshi bird is also in the same tree, in the same intellect. Where the enjoyer is sitting, there is the Sakshi. The whole spiritual journey is when the jiva looks at the Sakshi and realizes that the Sakshi is enjoying much more happiness without any objects of the world. That is called as moksha. It is a cognitive process, a knowing process, which is an intellectual process. When you come to realize that I am of the nature of pure Sakshi, pure awareness, then I can drop all the knots of the heart. Who am I? Who am I? All that question will get dropped. Completely it will get dropped because the Upanishad promises you know yourself as the Sakshi and become free. This is called as Jivan Mukti or Videha Mukti. Details we will see when we do the verses. So the virtues which we need to have is explained in the second section, and the nature of liberation is expanded. So now you have a bird's eye view of 64 verses. Now I will go slightly into the depth of first chapter. I have explained to you the question which comes in the third verse of the first section. What is that by knowing which everything becomes as good as known? And then the teacher says the field of knowledge is divided into Paravidya, Aparavidya. Paravidya is called as higher vidya, supreme. Why is it supreme? Because it can give me moksha. Whatever you may study in the Aparavidya, it will keep you in bondage. That is why it is called as the lower knowledge. Objective knowledge is material knowledge, which we can gather through the five sense organs. Paravidya is called as Aksharam. Don't forget this word, one word, Aksharam. If you remember this word, at any time, you can go back to your nature. One word. Repeat this in your own mind. Aksharam. What did you learn from Mundak Upanishad? Aksharam. Aksharam means imperishable, immortal, changeless. This is one of the indicators for Brahman. Aksharam. The whole 8th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita is written from this Aksharam word. Again from Mundak Upanishad. There is my own nature I don't know today. I am that pure consciousness, pure awareness. This is the teaching of the Upanishad. It is Aksharam, imperishable. What is the body? Sharati. It is perishable. What is the mind? Continuously changing, continuously born, dies, born, dies. In one moment, you're thinking of what should I eat in the evening today? Another moment, you're thinking of tomorrow morning, I should be going to office. The next moment after 1 hour, you're thinking about your daughter or son. Your mind is continuously changing. That is Apara Prakriti. Material. Anything made up of 5 subtle elements or 5 gross elements is perishable. The only thing which is imperishable is me as consciousness. That is called as Satyam. You cannot negate yourself in 3 periods of time as this consciousness. As body, you can negate. You can even negate it when you go to sleep. Forget about after death. Even in sleep state, you drop your body, identification of the body. And then who are you? I am this imperishable Aksharam, changeless. That is continuing as changeless. But body and mind and the world are changing. That is called as Aparavidya, and Paravidya means the knowledge of Atma. Very important section. If you can catch up these 2 words, Paravidya, Aparavidya, you have learned the gist of this Mundak Upanishad. In the 6th verse of this first section is the definition of Brahman, given as eternal, all-pervading, unchanging, not grasped by the organs of action or perception. It's free from class, caste, and other nature which belongs to material. Now, but consciousness is the material cause of all the beings. You see, whenever we say there is a cause, there are 2 types of causes: material cause and intelligent cause. A carpenter is the intelligent cause for the production of a table. A potter is the intelligent cause for the production of a pot. Clay is the material cause. The potter is the intelligent cause. Whenever we see in the world, in the objective world, these two causes are different. They are not the same in the objective world. But when it comes to the subjective world, then we can say there is one cause which is both the material cause as well as the intelligent cause. And then, is it possible? That's what the student is asking. Is it really possible that one cause itself is both material cause and the intelligent cause? Yes, yes, yes. Then the Upanishad gives the wonderful example of a web created by a spider. Like the web is created by the spider from the saliva of its own mouth, and then it withdraws the same thing back into its mouth. Similarly, there is one Brahman, one consciousness, which projects this entire universe for the jivas and then takes it back into itself. Manifestation and unmanifestation happen of the universe. We see as example of that in our sleep state. How is it possible? Is it possible? Yes, it is happening every day in our sleep state. Same thing at a higher level is called as Brahman, which is both the material and the intelligent cause. The material cause expresses as names and forms and function. This is an important point you should remember, because this is the answer to the question of Shaunaka. Is there a cause? There is a cause. What is that cause? Brahman. How is it? It is both material cause and intelligent cause. If I know that cause, I can know the entire universe, because everything is happening in that substratum. So the first section, 9 verses, the cause and effect are shown, para and apara are explained. And in the second section, the Apara vidya is explained. What is the Apara vidya? Agnihotra rituals. All the rituals, what happens, who is the Yajamana, who does the ritual, how is the Homa Kunda prepared, what are the upasanas which are taken up, what is the result of the upasanas when you do along with the rituals, all that is explained in the 13 verses under Apara vidya. If you do upasana, you go through, after death, then you go through some direction and then reach Brahma Loka. All that is explained. So, but the main thing you should remember is Apara vidya, whatever we do in the form of puja, all that is only helpful to purify our mind. The role of Apara vidya should be very clear, and that's what is explained in the second section. Then I told you there are chapter 2. Here I said that Paravidya is taken up, and the example of the fire and the spark is given. Details of that is we will study in verse 1 and 2 when we do it. Then what is this whole creation? How does this creation come about? The creation topic is discussed in 6-7 verses. Then in the second section, as I said, the nature of Brahman is described. This is a very subtle topic. and it mainly deals with the definition of Brahman as pure existence, pure consciousness, pure bliss. This is expanded in these 9 verses, and it can be realized only in the intellect. It shines in the intellect. It cannot be known anywhere else, because this is a cognitive understanding. It is internal journey. And for this only the Omkara meditation, which I described to you earlier, it comes up. When we do the Omkara meditation, the ignorance about myself is gone. So this is a good section where we learn what is the methodology of doing meditation and what do we get out of that meditation. How does my mind become focused, concentrated because of practicing Omkara meditation? And the last third chapter is basically where the 2 birds, the jiva bird and the sakshi bird example is taken up. There are certain disciplines which we are required to follow. The student is taught you have to have truthfulness, austerity, discipline, and then only you can take up self-inquiry. In this section also, 3 mantras are there, 7, 8, 9, where the definition of Brahman comes again. Whenever there is a definition of Brahman, you should note it down. This verse is important. In this chapter, the question is important and the answer, the indications of the Brahman which is given in different sections is important. Examples which are given is important. Like the fire and the spark, like, like the jiva bird and the sakshi bird. These are, if you remember these broad things, then you will remember the Upanishad. And then you can contemplate on this Upanishad in your own mind. See, my idea is to give you the gist of the entire Upanishad so that at any time, you not only get the academic knowledge of Brahman, you also come to know how do I try to capture the essence of the Upanishad in my own mind. If I can remember these 3 charts of 3 chapters, it'll bring to you in a very short time the whole picture of what you have studied. So the last section is about virtues to be cultivated, the second section of 11 verses, and the nature of Brahman, liberation. What is liberation? What is jivan mukti? What is videha mukti? You can be free from the identification with the body and the mind while you are living, by knowing that you are the pure consciousness. This is a subtle inward process where you have to say, I am not the jiva in this world, I am the pure consciousness in which the whole world is coming and going. That is how you should end up your study. This is, see, like again and again I'm saying there is absolutely no change in the external world. You will still be living in the same world, with the same people, with the same surroundings, and going through your life. Whatever prarabdha is supposed to come to this body will be fulfilled, because it will be the journey of the body. But at the same time, you will also learn about your higher nature. Okay. So with this, what I will do is now I will get into the proper study of the Upanishad, Mundak Upanishad itself. From now on, we'll go every chapter probably almost all the verses, 64 verses, I have put in these slides, but we will not go into the depth of each of those verses. I will give you just a short meaning so that you can get to know wherever there is an important verse, I will spend a little bit more time. But otherwise, you will go through these verses, you will get you'll have a knowledge of the Upanishads. Mundak. What is the meaning of Mundak? See, there are some commentators who say that in the end of this Mundak Upanishad, there is a ritual which is prescribed. Like you had some rituals of chanting Rudra in Kaivalya Upanishad. Here, it says that the sannyasis, they perform Ekarshi ritual, where they keep they carry fire on the head. This is some ritual which the sannyasis do. And they carry the knowledge, the Veda in their head, that is the fire. Now, what they want to do is they want to jump into this fire, get the knowledge of what is there in the Veda. Now, it is compared to a person who is caught up in fire and he wants water to get rid of the fire. So you douse yourself with water. Similarly, or you jump into the lake or a river so that you can get rid of the fire in you. Similarly, you jump into the knowledge of fire, and what happens is you are able to then withdraw from the identification with the body. So because this is taken up by sannyasis who are with shaven heads, it's called as Mundak, shaven heads. This is one commentator, okay? So don't get carried away. Some people say it is Mundak was a rishi. Most of the rishis are all, the Upanishads are known by the rishis who discovered it. The second meaning of Mundak means it's the head. It is the top knowledge. The knowledge, it's like a Paravidya, supreme knowledge. Mundak means it is supreme knowledge, it deals with the supreme knowledge which gives you the entire knowledge of the whole universe. Okay. The first section, first chapter. Om Brahma Devanam Prathama Sambhavova Vishwasya Karta Bhuvanasya Gopta. Now, what does this verse say? Now, the Upanishad starts with the rishis who have learned Brahma Vidya in the past. Now, Brahmaji is the creator. He is the protector of the world. Now, he gave this knowledge to Atharvana Rishi. The names of the Rishi is given in the second verse. Brahmaji taught to Atharva, Atharva taught to Angi, Angi taught to Satyavaha. Satyavaha is a Rishi of the Bharatvajas. These are all, there are people who belong to Bharatvaja Gotram. You belong to one group of rishis under that rishi. So when somebody chants the Abhivadya after the Upanayana ritual, you're taught how to introduce yourself. So you give the name of the rishi from where your forefathers have come. So Angiras is one, Bharatvaja is other. There are many, many rishis. So people chant the name of the rishi along with their introduction to say who they are. Now here, in just the verse 1 and 2 tells us who was the Guru and who is the Sishya. What is the Parampara? And Angiras is the Guru who teaches Shaunaka. In this Mundak Upanishad, Shaunaka is the disciple. Sarva vidya pratishtita. All the knowledge belonging to the world is there in the Veda. It is there in Paramatma. Paramatma is the Lord of the universe. So, when I learn from a guru this knowledge which comes from the Veda, then this is called as traditional way of learning. You can get knowledge from different ways, but this is the parampara. This is the traditional way. Go to a guru, get the knowledge of Brahma Vidya, and be free. Who was Shaunaka? Shaunaka was a noble householder. Like you and me, he was a householder. He was not a sannyasi. And he constructed schools for the society, dharmashalas, shelters for the people who go on pilgrimage. He constructed annashalas. He used to distribute food, serve the society. And because he has done all this noble activities, his mind was very pure. Indirectly, what is it teaching us? Whenever we get a chance to donate money to a good cause, go ahead and do it, because it will purify your mind. You will get rid of greed, lobha. There are 6 enemies in the mind, inner enemies. Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Madha, Matsarya. Very important 6 points. Yeah? Always remember this. These are all fundamentals of Vedanta. It is these 6 enemies which are torturing us the whole day. Kama, desire, one after the other, one after the other, one after the other. I don't get a desire, Krodha. I fulfill a desire, Lobha, greed. I want more and more, more and more, more and more. Desire is not fulfilled, jealousy. Either I want greed, I want more and more. If a desire is fulfilled, I get mother, which is pride. I am the biggest. I have everything in life. I can change the world. Or if I don't get the desire, what I want, somebody else has got, therefore I am jealous. So they are all linked. Kama, Krodha, Moha, Lobha, and they're all linked with each other. Moha is the delusion. Thinking that the world has got happiness. This is a huge delusion. In Taittiriya Upanishad, Shankaracharya very well points out that the happiness is the reflection of your own Atma Ananda in the mind. That's all. The analysis is fantastic in Taittiriya Upanishad. I'll explain to you when it comes. But here, just to tell you that Shaunaka was a noble householder. He understood that doing dharmic activities will purify the mind. Then the question asked by Shaunaka. What is the question? What is that, my Lord, having known which all this become known? Kasminno bhagavo vijñāte sarvamidam vijñātam bhavatiti. This is the second line of the verse. Kasminno bhagavo vijñāte sarvamidam vijñātam bhavati. What is it by knowing which I can have the knowledge of everything in the world? What a beautiful question. This is one of the wonderful questions in the Vedanta literature. Many people do a lot of research on questions asked by the disciple. Anyatra dharma, anyatra dharma, Kathopanishad question. So these questions itself has got the answer in them, which is the pearl of wisdom in the Upanishads. So question is important, answer is much more important. Keno Upanishad question. Keneshitam patati preshitam manaha, kena prana prathama proti yuktaha, keneshitam vachimemam vadanti, chakshu shotram kaudevo yunakti. Another beautiful question. In Keno Upanishad, the student is asking the teacher, what is the question there? Willed and directed by what this mind is shining? By whom? Who is the one which is keeping my breath in this body? Who is behind my speech? What is the intelligence which is directing the eyes to the objects, the ears to its sound? Very brilliant question. I brought up this question to show that questions are extremely important in Upanishads. If you meditate on the question itself, you'll come to realize your consciousness. That is the way it is. Meditate on the question. It is that power which is called as consciousness, which is called as Brahman, which is behind the mind, pranas, eyes, ears. Everything which you have in this body is controlled by consciousness. Another name for consciousness is Brahman. Okay? I hope this is very clear. Tasmai Uvacha. Okay. To that question of Shaunaka, what did the teacher reply? Dve vidya veditavyaha. There are two kinds of knowledge to be acquired. And what are the names of the two knowledges? Apara and para. Lower and higher. This is what the seers of Upanishads have known. See, what it means is the rishis have taught us that there are two types of knowledge to be known. You are asking me, Shaunaka, about one topic, one subject, but I cannot explain to you one topic, one subject. I have to explain to you two topics, and that is para and apara. When you come to know these two topics, you will realize that one topic, that one from where you will realize the answer to that question of one topic. But to get that answer, you need to understand two topics. Two topics. So what are the two topics? Para vidya, apara vidya. What is para vidya? Higher knowledge. Higher knowledge means what? It deals with the subject. Who is the subject in this body? Who is the indweller principle? Because of which the question itself can be asked. Without whom even the question cannot be asked. That is the knowledge of Sakshi, Brahman, consciousness, substratum, adhishthanam. So adhisthana jnanam is paravidya. What is the second knowledge? Aparavidya. What is this aparavidya? It is lower knowledge. Why is it called lower knowledge? Because it does not give moksha. What gives moksha? The knowledge of the self gives moksha. The knowledge of the world which is the knowledge of the Apara vidya, is only objective knowledge. It keeps me in samsara. Again and again, I am born in this world to undergo the whole cycle of samsara, birth, death, birth, death. How do I come out of this birth, death cycle? Know your nature as pure consciousness. You can come out of the cycle. Right now, here and now. Don't wait. Come to Mundak Upanishad and learn this knowledge and become free. Very beautiful analysis, very beautiful way in which the Upanishad presents this whole teaching. I really love this Upanishad because it's so clear, very clear in its approach to learning. See, for a student, you need initial stages when you are trying to enter into the spiritual study. You need simple ways in which you can look at yourself. And what is the subject to learn? Very, very beautifully mentioned here. So the section 1 gives me a general outline of Paravidya. What is the subject? What is the subjective knowledge? And the second section gives me Apara vidya. What is Apara vidya? Apara vidya is the study of the 4 Veda itself. It is there in the Veda. In the Veda, there are 2 sections. Veda Purva, Veda Anta. Veda Purva deals with topics like Siksha, phonetics, Kalpaha. What are the rituals? How the rituals are performed? And what are the benefits of doing that ritual? See, in the Upanishad, in the Veda, it caters to all types of people. There are some people who are not interested in moksha. They are interested in dharma, artha, kama. For them, it is this kalpaha, rituals and the results. They want better loka. They are not happy with this bhumi. They want to reach Swarga. To reach Swarga, there are rituals mentioned. You do those rituals, after you drop this body, you are promised to reach another world where you can have a better pleasure. It's there. Or in this world itself, ihaloka phalam. I want to pass an exam, do this ritual. I want to get my daughter married, do this ritual. So these are all Apara vidya. Vyakaranam, which is grammar. Niruktam, which is the word, how the word root is there, and from there you add the prefix and suffix and then form the actual word. Etymology. That's called Nirukta. Chandasam. Chandasam is literature. The meters, different meters are there. Gayatri meter, Anushtup meter. So many meters are there where the number of words will differ in each line. Some are in prose form. Some are in where you have 28 letters, 32 letters, and so on. Sahitya. Sahitya is history. You want to learn history? Very good, no problem. That is all Apara vidya. Jyotisham, astronomy, astrology. I was born on so-and-so date. So on that date, what was the nakshatram? How will that planets affect my life, my future? That is all astrology. Is it Paravidya? No, it is Aparavidya. So Aparavidya means chanting of words. It is literal meaning of words, not the lakshyartha, not the indicative meaning. By Aparavidya, you will not get fulfillment in life. you will always feel a sense of incompleteness. Rituals, arts, sciences, Brahmaloka Prapti, all this comes under Apara. Paravidya means what? It is the knowledge of the self. Pure self is the ultimate goal of all the jivas in the spiritual study. How am I consciousness? This is what every student should inquire. Recognizing this self through the study of the Upanishads gives me the knowledge that I myself am this pure existence, consciousness, bliss. There are two verses in one is from Kathopanishad, another is from Chandogya Upanishad, which I have brought here to explain to you what is Paravidya in the other Upanishads. What does this Paravidya do? If, suppose I get this knowledge of consciousness, existence, Brahman, it will give me fulfillment in life. I will not ask for anything else after that. Why? Because I understand that this is the substratum of the whole universe. It puts an end to all the bandhas, the bondages, the shoka. Shoka means worry, grief. Bhayam, bhayam means fear. We all, as a jiva, I have fear. Fear of death, fear of duality, but as pure consciousness, Brahman, I alone am. That is the teaching. If I know that I am immortal, today itself I can own up and say, I claim, because I have studied Mundak Upanishad. It is beyond, this pure consciousness is beyond all sorrow. This is what was taught to Arjuna in the second chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. Jayate mriyate va kadachit nayam bhutva bhavita va na bhuyaha. You are not born, Arjuna. You are pure. You are conscious. You are Atma. Kathopanishad beautifully says, Mahata param avyaktam avyakta purusha paraha. Beyond this, you see, now this one takes, in Kathopanishad, this particular mantra takes care of the samashti, the totality. In the totality, there is something called as the gross mind. I mean, the total mind. We all have individual minds, but then there is Paramatma who has got the totality of all the minds, which is called as Mahat. Total Vijnanamaya Kosha. Then total Prana. Total Manaha. There is a total, there is a complete, there is Samashti. But beyond this subtle body, subtle prapancha, there is Purusha. There is Antaryami Ishvara. In Chandogya Upanishad also, there is Narada, who is the disciple there, goes to teacher Sanat Kumara, and he says that I have known all the sciences. I have got 20 PhDs in different material sciences, astrology, palmistries, so many things I have studied. But tell me, oh Guru, till now, even after study of all the objective sciences, my sorrow has not gone. I'm still suffering from sorrow, incompleteness in me. We all have this incompleteness in us, like Narada. And we have to get rid of this incompleteness. By Sanat Kumara teaches him and he says, all you have learned is words and words and words and words, but you have not understood what is behind the words, what is the cause because of which alone you are able to study, that you have not known. So, we come to the sixth mantra of this Mundak Upanishad, the first section. Very, very important mantra. It is the central verse of the whole Mundak Upanishad. The description of Brahman is given in this verse. What is the description? Yadreshyam, agrahyam, agotram, avarnam, achakshusotram, tadapanipadam, nityam vibhom, sarvagatam, sukshmam, tad avyayam, yad bhutayonim, paripashyanti dhiraha. I'll explain to you each word because this is the way the teaching happens. Aksharam. Aksharam means what? Imperishable reality. Is it somewhere outside in the heaven? No. It is directly experienced as the subject. I, aham. This is the teaching. This reality is there in this intellect, in the cave of the intellect. So realize Brahman as one's own self. That is the teaching. You don't have to die to know, to go to heaven and then get some knowledge and all that. Here itself, by the study of Mundak Upanishad, the teacher says, learn this para vidya of an existing self, which is the higher nature of you, Shaunaka. It is an indirect teaching to all of us to meditate on this consciousness as Aksharam. Very powerful word. There are two words which are very powerful. One is Aksharam, another is Nityam. When I was learning this Upanishads, the teacher asked me, meditate on this for 1 month. Aksharam, Nityam. What is Aksharam in this universe? What is Nityam in this universe? Just meditate, just say, what is imperishable? Imperishable means what? It was there yesterday, it is there today, it will be there tomorrow. That's all. That is what is the definition of imperishable. Is it something, an object? No. It is not an object in front of the 5 sense organs or the mind, but it is the subject itself. The subject itself is appearing as this body, mind, and the world. That is the teaching. This particular mantra is the central mantra of the whole Mundak Upanishad. You learn it by heart, you contemplate, go through other commentaries, study this in detail. There are 10 mantras. This is the second. First mantra I told you is the question. The second mantra is this one. Realization of Brahman as one's own self. Then the second word used here is Adreshyam. Adreshyam means it is not known by the sense organs. What is known by the sense organs? The world is known, Drishyam. Body is known, Drishyam. But is it Brahman? Is it the self? No. Why is it not the self? Because it is Adreshyam. This is how you should use the Shruti. The logic of how the scriptures define your nature should be very clear. When we go through these verses, you come to realize meditating on these words will take me directly to my source, which is Brahman. So at any time in meditation, don't try to objectify Atman or Brahman to come in front and show you its nature. It will not. It will never happen. You can wait for hundreds of years. Nothing is going to happen. The only way to claim Brahman is, I am that pure consciousness. Imperceptible. That is the word which is used. Adreshyam is imperceptible. So the common feature between the world and me, one of the common features is Drishyatvam. There are 5 common features. Drishyatvam. This is not mentioned here. I'm telling you, this comes from Keno Upanishad. I'll just name it for you. Just keep it in mind. These are very beautiful things to know. These are the fundamentals of Vedanta taught. There are 5 common features between the world and this body, mind complex. Number 1, Drishyatvam. Drishyatvam means seen. The world is seen, the body is seen. Mind is seen, world is seen. So what is common between the world and body, mind? Both are seen. Bhautikatvam, second feature. Bhautikatvam means what? World is made up of 5 elements. My body is made up of 5 elements. My mind is made up of 5 subtle elements. Therefore, the world, seen body, mind complex is not me. Drishyatvam, Bhautikatvam. Third, Savikaratvam. Savikaratvam means what? Changing. The world is changing. Always vikara. Tomorrow morning it may be raining outside. It may be thunderstorm. It may be hot. It may be cold. It may, the temperature keeps on changing. Trees are growing. Everything in the world is changing. The earth is moving at a huge speed, which eyes cannot see it, but it is moving. Stars are moving, planets are moving. My eyes cannot see it because they are finite. So Savikaratva. The world. What about my body? Inside my body, enzymes are being created, the digestion is going on, new cells are being born every second, heart is pumping the blood, the body is growing, it's decaying, some parts is growing, some is decaying, change. Third factor is Savikaratvam. Fourth factor, Sagunatvam. Gunas, Sattva, Rajas and Tamas are the 3 gunas which you can see experience in the world outside. Same thing can be experienced in the body also. Therefore, the world is with attributes, gunas. Body is with attributes, gunas. There is commonness between the body, mind and the world. The last factor, 5th factor is Agama Pahitvam. Agama Pahitvam means what? World gets created, it gets into resolution in Pralaya time. That is the external one. What about me, the body and mind? In the sleep state, my body is resolved. In the waking state, again, I see the body. Manifestation, unmanifestation is going on outside in the world and in this body also. Therefore, the world, these are the common 5 features between the world, which is made up of 5 elements. It is inert, body is also inert, but there is something which keeps this body active, which is keeping the pranas active, the heart pumping, the world getting charged, if the world is in action because of some other external factor, which my eyes cannot see it, but it exists, and that is what is revealed by the Veda. And in Kena Upanishad, it says it is this consciousness which is beyond this world and the body which you are trying to know, O student. The same thing is being taught here in Mundak Upanishad as Adreshyam. The next word is Agrahyam. Agrahyam means what? We have seen Adreshyam is organs of knowledge, sense organs. Agrahyam means, can I use my organs of action to know this pure consciousness? No. You cannot use your tongue. You cannot use your legs, hands to know this consciousness. Agotram, it is not born in a lineage because it is not the body. You're talking about consciousness which is always there, existing all the time, unborn. Vivek Chudamani has this beautiful meditation verse, 254. Jati neti kula dhurakam nama rupa guna varjitam deshakala vishayadivarti yat brahma tattvamasi bhavayatma. This Brahman doesn't have a caste, creed, family. It is without a name and form, merit and demerit. This is what is important here. Merit and demerit is talking about Karana Sharira. Agrahyam is organs of action. Adrishyam is organs of knowledge. Subtle body, gross body, and the causal body. Ajanma, Avinashi, because it is not born, it will not die. It will not get destroyed. Okay? So we have covered 4 points. I will finish the 5th point and then I'll stop. Avarnam. Avarnam means what? It doesn't have any form, color. It cannot be seen because it has no attribute. Whatever is seen is not Brahman. Because the seer is Brahman. The seer is the consciousness. So in order to know this consciousness, what should I do? Just close your eyes, remain silent, let the sense organs not function in the world, let the organs of action not function, let the mind not think about anything in the world. Then what happens? I am with myself. That is the way in which we understand the self. I will continue this 19th slide next week, and we will see how a very beautiful Upanishad. I'm sure you all enjoyed today's session, and I will close today. And in case you have any questions, you are free to ask me at the end of the talk. You can unmute yourself and ask. Okay, so we will continue this study, and like I said, that those who are interested, just send me a message. I will know at least how many people are interested to learn a little bit more of Swami Vidyaranya's commentary on these verses. You know, some of these verses are very beautiful. Like this verse. This verse is very important verse. Learn it by heart. Use it for meditation. You will reach your true self. Promise by the Upanishad. Okay. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachade Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnameva Vasishyade. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. So, if you have any questions, you can. Okay, there's somebody, Vibhuti. Okay, Vibhuti, yes, I understand. I will be in touch with you. I will get a response from others also. Slowly, we will try to see how many people are interested, and then we'll see what should be the study after the 64 pages. I've covered about 19 pages. So in about 3-4 sessions, I will be able to finish this Mundaka Upanishad, this portion of the presentation. Okay. Any questions from anybody for today's session? Yes, tell me, Bye.
This, as you were saying that to study we have to study the mantra to get through the thing, right?
No need to study the mantras by heart and all that. Don't worry about it. Just understand the meaning. That's all.
Oh.
No need to by heart and no need to learn this, except 1 or 2 mantras, which I'm telling you, learn it by heart. And at your age, don't think about by hearting and all that. It's not required. What you do is just, see, for example, today I told you Aksharam. You just try to remember this word Aksharam, Aksharam, Aksharam. Every day, once in a day, you just think about what is this Aksharam Shekhar-ji was talking about.
Aksharam.
Aksharam means it is something which is not perishable, that will not die. There is something, correct. It is not destruction. There is no destruction for that. What is that? It is called as Atma. That Atma is not, it is me, it is my nature. You see, that is what you should learn. Atma means it is not somewhere else, it is not God I'm talking about. I'm talking about my own nature. You see, it is my pure self. And I realize this every day. I'm telling you, each one of us in our sleep state, we are this Atma. Remember this fact. It is a fact in the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, in Prashno Upanishad, in Chandogya Upanishad. It is said to us that don't think that you don't have the experience of Atma. Only thing is, you have to drop this body as your self, and whatever you are in your sleep state, that is your pure nature. That nature was your nature before the birth of this body. This body is incidental. It is just there for a few years. Very, very flimsy, very transient experiences we are having. But my nature, before I was born, I am of this nature of pure consciousness, pure existence, and pure Ananda. Don't forget this. The happiness is not outside, it is my own happiness which is getting reflected in the objects outside. When I see my son, I am very happy. The sun is an object in front of me, in front of Atma. That Atma's joy is getting reflected through the sun. Whatever, these are all objects. In Taittiriya Upanishad, this matter is explained by Shankaracharya very beautifully. When he comes and talks about Ananda Maya Kosha, this particular point is taken up and he says that Ananda does not belong to the object, but it belongs to the subject which is getting reflected. Very deep topic, but it's something if you learn one time in your lifetime, you will never have any difficulty after that.
The only problem is a pity that some of us have not taken Sanskrit, so we won't be able to follow up the.
No, don't worry about whether I know Sanskrit and all that. Don't worry. Just listen to what I've been telling you. See, even in English, there is a word called as perishable, imperishable. Okay, so you don't need to have the knowledge of Sanskrit to say, yes, yes, I will learn Sanskrit first, and I know, and then I will come back to Upanishad, I will learn. Don't worry about all that. Whatever you can pick up today, always think of now, right now. Forget about the future. Don't postpone your knowledge, postpone your happiness to the future. You say, yes, God has given me this opportunity to learn the scriptures.
Okay.
Aksharam means imperishable. Imperishable means Atma is imperishable.
Not destructible.
Yes, Atma is not dying. It is always there. You see, that is what we should meditate on.
Oh, is it infinite, we can say? Is it infinite?
Yes, it is infinite. Correct.
Yeah, okay. So I have one question here, this side, Shivani.
Thank you.
Yeah, Shivani, tell me.
So first of all, I'm so happy you get well. You were suffering from COVID-19, as I was informed about that.
Yeah, thank you.
I'm so blessed you to be there. My question is that while explaining the meanings, you used a word that is Ekadashi, Upavasana, I think so.
Yeah.
If I'm right, when you were talking about the nudging in the head and export. Can you make it a little clearer for me that how it can be beneficial for ourselves while feeling the consciousness?
You mean that ritual which I'm talking about?
Yes, you were talking about the ritual, and I just want to know that is this something beneficial?
No, nothing to do with us. For us, it's not important.
Does it has any
particular ritual
benefit?
is mentioned in the Mundak Upanishad in the end. That is ritual, Ekadashi ritual. It is not Ekadashi. It is not Ekadashi ritual. It is Ekadashi. It is different. So this ritual is meant for sannyasis who want to learn about Brahma Vidya. So when they take up sannyas, they remove the hair, they become bald, and they take the Veda in their head and then they do a ritual. There is a particular ritual which the Mundak Upanishad says in the end. And some commentators of the Upanishads have said Mundak has got a name called Mundak Upanishad because of that ritual.
Okay.
As far as you and me are concerned, we don't have to worry about that. It is just for knowledge, that's all.
So what about fasting? I mean, I have read something somewhere.
Yeah, fasting and those things. Okay, now you're asking about something which we can do. Ekadashi, fasting. Now, see, the fasting ritual is something which we all, it will help us in controlling our mind. See, slowly what happens is when we are trying to know about Atma and we are trying to know about our own nature, there are certain small things which the scriptures teach us, like doing a puja, like doing some ritual of going to a temple every month once, like fasting once. You know, you can fast once. You depending on what type of fasting also you can do, you decide. Now, all these are only disciplines to purify my mind. That's all. So, in the second chapter, in Mundak Upanishad, they will tell you what are the benefits of doing this type of rituals. They are all, yeah, go ahead.
So, these are mandatory for our physical health? and it has influence over our mental health also. You want to
Correct.
say that?
No, these are good for both physical as well as mental.
Okay.
So
So I
these,
have
yeah, go ahead.
sorry,
Yeah.
sorry. I was unable to listen. Now I'm able.
Okay, good. Very good.
Mhm.
Okay, thank you.
So one more question. One more question here.
Yeah.
Sorry, I may be taking the time of other people, but I have one question related to meditation. When we do meditation, I think different people they can have different experience when they're meditating. I don't know the level where I am in terms of meditation, but sometimes it happens when I feel that I'm losing my weight of body. It happens at a certain
Yeah,
point that
it does happen. Yes.
I have
Yes.
no weight of my body.
Yes. Yes.
But when I start focusing, I mean, when I don't know where I am, I feel I'm here. Like I'm feeling myself in the head or somewhere, not at the bottom side of my body.
Okay.
Suddenly it happens that I get afraid of something. It starts happening like I cannot breathe, and it's like it turns so suffocating. Can I know what is the reason behind that, and is there any solution for the problem?
Okay. You see, meditation is of different types. I would suggest that you come to my meditation sessions on Wednesday evening. I have meditation sessions on Wednesday evenings in Singapore time is about, normally I have a class on Wednesday. Are you aware of the Wednesday classes? Yeah, so you join my Wednesday classes and you will understand. I take meditation sessions for 10 minutes every time at the end of the session. On Wednesdays, you come and attend, and you have in my class notes, you will find 80 meditation sessions, 80. So there are notes available on those sessions. You read the notes, you will have more clarity.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. Come for
Yes.
those sessions. You attend some of these sessions, you will have full clarity on meditation. 100% clarity on what you should meditate, how you should meditate, what you should expect in meditation, what you should not expect in meditation. All that will be cleared. Okay. So if you don't have those class notes, you write to me, write to Vedanta students. We'll send you the class notes in which there are meditation sessions, in which there are notes also available, and the sessions, both are there. You can take one meditation each day along. You can just listen to the recording and just close your eyes and listen for 10 minutes. That's all. You take maybe 5 or 10 meditation sessions, and then you contact me and let me know whether you're following it or not.
Okay. Sure.
Okay. Anybody else has a question? I can see there's a lot of response on the Swami Vidyaranya's, there's a tremendous response. I mean, I am interested. There's almost everybody has replied. Okay, what I will do is at the end of this 69 pages, I will circulate to you the entire 400 pages notes of Swami Vidyaranya on Mundak Upanishad, 100 verses. I will also send you the 100 verses that is there in the notes itself. The 100 verses are there in the notes along with the meanings. These notes are very simple to read and understand. They are very, very simple. What I will do is I will quickly go through those notes in some parts which are important verses, like this question, like this answer. These verses, the way Vidyaranya has taken, I will go through those verses. Okay, so I will take up this also at the end of the Mundaka presentation. I will take up Anubhuti Prakasha Mundaka Upanishad by Swami Vidyaranya, 100 verses. We will discuss that. Maybe it will take 5-6 sessions or more. I don't know. But let's see how it grows. Okay? Yeah, Shama, tell me.
Hari Om Shigudi. Thank you very much. As usual, a wonderful start to which looks like a very exciting Upanishad. In just the way you introduced it, giving the whole summary, you've alluded to, the very huge importance given to the questioner, the questions itself,
Yes,
So that was very nice. I was also you have referred to the question in the Kena Upanishad,
Yes,
that, as to what propels. So that actually caught my real interest in terms of what is it that propels the mind to. What I wanted to ask you in that, what is it? So it's the same consciousness which tells the mind to attach to its external objects, as well it is the same consciousness which asks the mind to withdraw within.
Okay, good question. You should be like Nachiketa, I think, you're the next Nachiketa of this century. Okay, see, the question you're asking is it the consciousness which is pushing us to ask the question? The answer is no. Consciousness is like a light. It is the jiva who is born in this body who is asking this question.
Okay.
The jiva is asking the question, what is this mind? How is it getting this power to think? Then it refers to the Upanishad. The Upanishad gives an answer. There is Atma. So it is the ignorance of a jiva because of which he is asking these questions.
Okay. And I'm assuming that it is the jiva which is
getting the knowledge.
And it is obviously, I mean, that's assuming that it is the jiva which over the process of karma yoga, jnana yoga, you are actually getting, your mind is getting more and more purified. So you're no longer interested in looking at the objects, because you already understand my happiness is not in the objects themselves. It is my own consciousness which gets reflected, and that's what is giving me the joy.
That's correct. Yes.
I've understood correctly. Yeah.
Yes.
So that's good. There's just one little, I have a problem with the way the terminology works. For example, you say paravidya and aparavidya. Yeah. However, the aparoksha anubhuti which you're sending, that has a shabda apara, which actually is referring to, the highest knowledge. Aparoksha anubhuti, you're sending us the Vedanta chanting every day.
Yes.
So that shabda aparoksh and apara vidya, so it is actually giving conflicting meaning.
No, it is not conflicting meaning. You see, aparoksha means it is something not paroksha. It is myself. The subject is called as aparoksha anubhuti. The subjective experience is called as aparoksha anubhuti. It is not paroksha. There are two things, paroksham and pratyaksham. Pratyaksham means right in front of the sense organs. Paroksha means not in front of the sense organs. But beyond the sense organs, there is another knowledge which is called as aparoksha jnana.
Okay.
So awareness is aparoksha jnana. It is a knowledge born out of its own existence, which is the subject, which is the Atma.
Okay.
The knowledge born of the paroksha and pratyaksham is born out of the mind. When the mind rises, it will have paroksha jnanam or pratyaksha jnanam. But I, the Atma, will always continuously have the aparoksha jnana. Aparoksha anubhuti is my nature. There is a beautiful text called Aparoksha Anubhuti itself.
Yeah.
In which we are sending you the quotes every day and you're listening to it. So,
Okay.
Okay, anybody else has a question?
You're going now.
Anybody else has a question?
So one question I have there,
Yeah,
again,
go
if
ahead.
nobody is asking, I ask you many questions always. Sorry for that. When we are studying about human memory, I would say, we humans have different kind of memories, like biological memories. You know, we have different kind of memories. While my research, I came to know that there is kind of memory which is not because of our genetic code or our physical memory. This is something beyond physical and mental memory. Can we say that this memory is
Are you talking about you're talking about Nandi, is it?
Memory.
Memory or Nandi? I'm not able to hear it properly.
Sorry. So I'm talking about memory.
Okay,
I'm
memory,
talking
yes.
about memory, that we have kinds of memories, like memory of the body, cells, brains, neurons, and genes. While researching out, I came to know that people have a certain kind of memories that does not match their genetic codes also. I mean, they have memories beyond their genetic codes also, which are transmitted to themselves. Can we regard this memory as Atmic memory?
No. This has got no
memory of the life.
Okay,
yes,
memory can be is memory mean it is a function of the mind.
Yeah.
Okay, it is a function of the antakarana. That means manas, chitta, buddhi, ahankara. There are 4 aspects of inner organ: mind, intellect, ego, and memory. Now, memory is of impressions which have been gathered in the waking state. I again remember those memories. This is the way Veda talks about memory. The field of medicine talks about memory in a different way, which you are talking about related to other neurons, brains, and so on. Now, that is completely different when it comes to Vedanta. Vedanta only says that impression, suppose, see, this is very simple. If I read something, I suddenly remember what I have read. That is memory. Okay, suppose I see a film, or I see in my WhatsApp message a nice message. Again, after I close the phone, after half an hour, again something I remember that message again. So memory is only a function of the antakaranam. It helps us to live in the world outside. Okay, so it is a tool. It is a it is a tool given by the Lord to each one of us, and it helps us to lead a life outside. Because of memory only, we are able to think what happened yesterday and what I should do tomorrow. Okay.
So it simply means that the memory is too lower than the consciousness. I mean,
Correct.
Consciousness has no need of memory at all.
Absolutely, consciousness, awareness does not depend on memory to know itself. There are 2 types of knowledge. One is the knowledge or awareness of the Sakshi, the Atma itself. That is independent knowledge. The knowledge of the objective world is dependent knowledge. It depends on memory, it depends on the mind, it depends on the sense organs, it depends on the light outside, it depends on so many factors. Okay?
So memory is the requirement or the demand of the body, the causal body.
Yes, it is required for the body to live in the world. That's all. Yeah, Tulsidas, this notes you're talking about, Anubhuti Prakasha, Swami Paramatmananda, I've also listened to that. These notes are from the same talk of Paramatmananda. So what I'm going to distribute to you is the same, Anubhuti Prakasha by Swami Paramatmananda. Okay, anybody else has a question?
Shikuti, would you mind sending the notes for these current Mundaka Upanishad class?
I've sent it by WhatsApp.
No. Is it possible to send it by email?
Yeah,
Please?
tomorrow along
Because
with this.
I can't transfer it to my.
No, don't worry. Today, do you get the videos by email?
Yeah.
Yeah, then
I
you
do.
will get it along with this today's class. You will get the notes by email.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you and good night. And we'll continue this next week.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Hari Om.
Hari Om. Good night.
Hari Om, Shikhar.
Thank
Hari
you.
Om. Thank you.